Good morning and welcome to the ground monotype run on the Retrobrown channel. We are doing this in Johto Gen 2 on Pokémon Gold. And I'm excited for this one because I do like a lot of the ground types in this region. They're not exactly the best of the whole franchise, but there's definitely some in here that are just that good that it's going to be a fun run. I'm going to make sure that we start off on Sunday so we can actually get the return TM. And then we go and pick up our first starter Pokemon for this run. You might be wondering who that one is. Well, it's definitely not going to be Cyndaquil because that's a fire type. It's going to be Larvitar again. Yes, for the third video, Larvitar is making an appearance because, well, it's the rock ground type, so it could at least appear on those videos. And it also, when it evolves into Tyranitar, gets itself into the dark type as well, rock dark type. Christian Habinski, you are going to be our Larvitar for today, and welcome to the channel. I'm glad you're here. So, as I've just said there, when it gets to Tyranitar, it turns into the rock dark type, which means, unfortunately in this video, we will not be actually using Tyranitar whatsoever. What we will be using though, we will be using Larvitar and Pupitar as it evolves. But as soon as it gets to that stage where it could evolve in Tyranitar, that's it, we won't be able to evolve it, because we lose that ground type, and this is the ground type mono run, so I'm not going to cheat and use different Pokemon of a different type. But yeah, Larvitar is a decent Pokemon to start off with. Because it's got that rock ground type, it also means that a lot of the normal type moves in the early game are not going to affect it very much. But we do have a big problem with Falkner, and that's the fact that it uses Mud Slap. But in any case, it should be okay. We should be able to do it with this Pokemon alone. Otherwise, we're going to have to go and get a Geodude temporarily. But yeah, we're going to give the rival a Chikorita as well today. That way we can actually have a decent challenge for the ground type. And of course, the Meganium is probably one of the hardest rival Pokemon to actually start off with, which is weird because it's not the easiest Pokemon to use in this region, but when you're fighting against it, it's difficult. Our rival for today is going to be your local Sandshrew, because by the time I'd done the Sandshrew video, he just only subscribed, and I couldn't put him as a Sandshrew rival for that video. So today, for the ground mono video in Johto, we will be using your local Sandshrew as our rival, but because it's such a long name as well, I can't actually put the full name in, so it's going to be YLSS. I think that's fine anyway, but either way, your local Sandshrew, give him a big round of applause because decent subscriber, happy to have him here. Anyway, let's bring ourselves into Falkner's gym, and Birdkeeper here, because it's only using flying type moves, pretty easy fight to begin with. And we're starting off with Bite as well, and hopefully outspeeding some of the Pokemon, which I don't think we will because Larvitar speed's not all that great. We can actually get a few flinches in, but yeah, as I said, the flying Pokemon in this gym are actually kind of fast compared to us. So even though we can get down to very low HP against the second Birdkeeper, we're at around about the level cap where we can go into this gym at level 9. So I am going to go and get a couple more levels just to get us right up close to that level 10, but not going into level 10 straight away. So let's see how we do with just Larvitar. I mean, we're going into this level 7, and Mud Slap is just completely tearing us apart. Like, it is dealing out super effective damage, it's reducing our accuracy, we don't even get past the Pidgey. So what can I do? Well, I can go level up to level 9 like I said, but there is one other Pokemon we can use temporarily that isn't a Johto Pokemon that we could use, and that is going to be a Geodude. We could go get that in the cave to the right of Violet City. That might be what we need to do to make this possible. We get ourselves right up to the level cap. We're going to try this one more time with just Larvitar, because at level 9 we also get the move Sandstorm, which means we can get some chip damage off. I'd be very happy if we can do this with just Larvitar, and hopefully we're going into level 10 we might have enough to work with to do this. Because Sandstorm just chipping away at it, we can always keep some consistent damage up. Our defense is keeping high, so we are actually doing alright. We managed to get all the way down to 1 HP, but we do still get taken down. But that indicates to me that this can be possible. So level 9, we're trying this again. We managed to get through the Pidgey this time without taking any hits. We get to the Pidgeotto, we're going to just keep using Bite this time. I know we've got Leer in our moveset, but in Gen 2, Dark-type moves are also special moves, which means it won't be able to lower its defenses and then attack it to deal out more damage. But with some good RNG, we actually do manage to make it through with just Larvitar alone at the level cap. So I'm quite happy with that. We don't even need to go and get a Geodude. So, we're going to throw the Mystery Egg into the computer because we have no need for a Togepi in this run. But what we do have a need for is Wooper. the water ground type from this generation, and my god, I'm happy to have this one on the team to have some type diversity. And you know who's going to be called the Wooper from this? It's going to be Overgoat or Wooper Goat. Thank you. It's going to be Wooper Goat. Thank you so much for all your comments recently. Really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed being Wooper for this video. So with Wooper on the team, that gives us some fantastic type diversity with having Water Gun as our starting move. It means that even at level 6, we can comfortably take care of all of the hikers in Union Cave. We really don't have to worry whatsoever. Wooper is fantastic for this part of the game. And even when it gets into Quagsire as well, we've got a fantastic Pokemon just for the entirety of the run. It's a great Pokemon to pick up very early on. We're sweeping through these hikers so comfortably. The next move they will learn though will be Slam, and that's not really a move that we too much use on this channel because it's got low accuracy. It's not really the greatest of moves, but in early game, it's not the worst. It's usable, but not great. But I love moves that are 100% accurate. If it's not 100% accurate, it might as well not be accurate whatsoever. You might as well just be throwing away a turn. Beating the Rockets in Slowpoke, well, pretty comfortably. We can then progress on to Bugsy's gym because it's going to be easier for us to beat him before going against the rival. And Bugsy's not going to be too much of a problem, I would say. The Cypher, of course, is always the big threat on his team. What I'm imagining though is if we can take out as many Pokemon as possible with just Wooper, we can then go into Larvitar, and hopefully from there lower the defense as well by using Tail Whip on Wooper, and then hopefully 1 or 2 shot the Cypher incoming. But then I also remembered we can't technically do that because Bite, as I said earlier, is a special move, not a physical move. So that's not really going to help us out. We might have to do this the other way around, where we start off with Larvitar, we beat the first 2 Pokemon, then go into the Wooper to get the slams off to get the win against Cypher. We get very close at level 14 though. So I'm going to do that. Let's start off again with Wooper at level 15. This time we have picked up, well, we have taught it the move Mud Slap as well. Isn't going to work against the Cypher, but it will work against the Kakuna. But Water Gun is still dealing out more damage. Hopefully we don't get poisoned as well, because that would be really bad. And from here, we get down to low HP, we switch into our Larvitar, set up a Sandstorm, so we can get some chip damage going off on the Cypher, and we also get poisoned, so we know that Larvitar will eventually go down. From there, we're going to start using Sandstorm again, and then we've also using the move Screech, lowering the defense by 2 stages every turn, and we only managed to get 1 off, but that should be enough for Slam to work if we get the right RNG. We didn't get it this time. This is a difficult fight with these 2 Pokemon. It all comes down to that Cypher, and the Cypher likes to use Fury Cutter a lot. If we need to make sure it doesn't set it up before we switch in our Pokemon. Annoyingly, Wooper Goat this time does get poisoned, so we might have to rely just on Larvitar. We're trying to get it down to low HP, and because we're poisoned, we might as well stay in with Wooper Goat. And we're going to go for the Tail Whips first. It went for a Fury Cut. We might be able to... No, we can't. Okay, let's try this one more time. Set up the Sandstorm. Let's set up some bites, and maybe we'll get lucky here. A very, very lucky Fury Cutter miss there. Broke the chain, and we managed to deal out enough damage with Chip in the Sandstorm to get the win. So we didn't even need to try my other strategy that I tried. And we also pick up the Fury Cutter TM, which I don't think we can actually teach to any of our Pokemon at this stage. Let's have a look. No, we can't, so we might have to leave it for another Pokemon. But it's a decent move to have, because there's not many good Bug-type moves still in Generation 2. And we need all the work we can get. So let's see how we do against your local Sandshrew again, and we're starting off with Wooper Goat hit by Mud slapping its face into the ground. Once we've walked back up, we should be able to take it out with 2... Oh, Spite, what an annoying move. So Spite has just removed all of our PP in 2 turns. It got a 5 Spite and a 4 Spite, which is really annoying. And then we discover we've got another big problem, and that, of course, is going to be Bayleaf. Bayleaf's Razor Leaf is one-shotting all of our Pokemon, but thankfully, we're still within the level cap. We can actually evolve Wooper into Quagsire. So we've got a very good Pokemon now on our team, but we had to go all the way to level 20 to make this happen. Basically, this whole fight comes down to Wooper Goat. We need to make sure that we can get the Mud Slaps off so they don't even hit us with Razor Leaf. Razor Leaf does have 95% accuracy, so it's not guaranteed to hit every single time. And with the Mud Slaps reducing accuracy as well, we can at least get 6 off before we actually start using Slam to take out the rest of the Pokemon. But wow, Level 20 to beat this part of the game, I was not too happy with it. Thankfully though, with Goldenrod City, we can go and pick up the Return TM, and also we can pick up the Ice Punch TM. Fantastic move, which will be going straight on Wooper Goat, and we can progress into Whitney's gym to see if we can get the 3rd badge. It's going to be a while before Larvitar evolves, but still, I think we can do it with this team. They're a decent team to start off with. It's still going to be a little bit of a while till we get a new Pokemon, so we might be spending a lot of this run with just Larvitar and with Quagsire. But I think it's possible. We'll soon find out anyway. Let's head into Whitney's battle and see how we do. So, Whitney of course has got her Clefairy at level 18, and she's also got her Miltank at level 20. We want to take out this Clefairy as quick as possible to make sure we've got enough HP to work with for the next Pokemon, but the Clefairy gets a Swords Dance and then Poison stings us. Of course that's my luck. I get poisoned from a Metronome Poison Sting. That's just annoying. At least we can keep up Sandstorm a bit to deal out some chip damage, but she started using Rollout, which is bad. So unless we get a freeze with Ice Punch, which our luck is on point today, we get the freeze on the first Ice Punch. This is how good a Quagsire can be. Give it Ice Punch, you've got some reliability in fights now. It's a great Pokemon, I love it. In the National Park we can also pick up the Dig TM, which will be very important, and we can progress on to Ecruteak City. I really wish that a lot of the ground type Pokemon in this generation were available earlier on, but the likes of Gligar, Swinub, Fampi, they're all available after the 7th gym, which is really annoying. And unless I decide we're just getting to a point where we can't beat everyone like we're just beating Psychic Greg again, yeah, we might have to put some Pokemon in a bit earlier than normal. In the fights with the Sages in Morty's gym, so let's see how we do against Morty anyway. With having Dig and Bite on our moveset, we can deal out some big damage against these Ghost Poison types. And it's a good thing that the Ghost Poison types, they didn't add a Misdreavus on for this team, because then we probably wouldn't have had much to work with. We do get taken down by the Gengar because we get put to sleep and Dream Eated, because that always happens to us. And again, that happens one more time. So this is probably going to be a loss unless Hibinsky actually wakes up here. It doesn't, so we need to try again. So specific RNG luck is definitely needed for this fight. We're always going to get cursed by that Ghastly from every single attempt I did with this. This was not the 2nd attempt. This is probably like the 10th attempt. This did take me a little bit of time. Even though we did have the type advantage, it still took a while because of Hypnosis and Curse damage and Dream Eater. We weren't in a great position. Thankfully this time round, Quagsire did a lot more to get that Gengar down to low HP, giving Christian Hibinsky to come in with its Bite and get the win. But that's not a guaranteed first time win. It takes a bit of RNG. You've got to really hope Hypnosis does not hit you. We can then pick up the HM for Surf, which is going to be a fantastic addition to Quagsire's moveset. And, well, we've run away from the Miltank. It really helped us out in the last video, but I don't want to be seeing another Miltank for a while now. That brings us on to Olivine City, and Olivine City has its own little side quest to start off. That, of course, is the Secret Potion side quest, once you've got to the top of the lighthouse. And also, of course, we can pick up the Strength HM, and we can also pick up the Good Rod. We don't actually need the Good Rod for this run because we've already got our Surf Pokemon, but I don't want to be giving Quagsire moves like Whirlpool later on and taking up a moveset that we can't remove. So we do need one water type Pokemon. I usually pick up a Krabby, just because it can learn Strength, Surf, Whirlpool, and Cut. So it's a very good HM Pokemon for this game. Annoyingly, it doesn't learn Waterfall Law, which would have been a fantastic addition to like the moveset, but yeah, we have to pick up a Goldeen or a Seeking later on to actually get through the Waterfall. It really annoys me that in this game there's only, if you really were only going on linear path like I do with these videos, you only need Whirlpool and Hit and Waterfall for one use case each. After that, there is literally no point of using them. So there's not even much point putting it on your moveset. It was a bit of fresh air when I did the Water Mono video earlier in the year, because that way I had a full team of water types that could actually utilise all the water TM, like HMs. We have a big problem in Chuck's gym. The Dojo Brothers do take a while to take down, and they are a back-to-back fight. And thankfully we can't be hit by the likes of Thunder Punch here. but still, we take a lot of damage out before we just get a clutch win with Wooper Goat again. Honestly, this Pokemon will be the MVP of this entire team. It's just fantastic on a ground-type, mono-type run. With that being said though, let's head into the 5th gym and see how we do against Chuck. Now Chuck's a big problem for this team for the fact that we're weak to water types in general, and his Poliwrath is the ace. Even Wooper Goat doesn't have a neutrality against water. Because it is a ground water type, it actually does take neutral damage from water type moves, and it goes down pretty quickly to a Dynamic Punch as well. So we are really struggling. We need very specific luck to make this doable. And it's going to come from the form of Ice Punch again. This took a lot of tries, but we actually got an attempt here where Ice Punch hit the Primeape early on, and we also got a freeze on the Poliwrath in a bit. Or at least I hope we do, because we're not doing that much damage with Dig or Ice Punch. I actually decided here, you know what, we're not going for the Ice Punches, we're not going to rely on freezing, we're just going to dig our way through this, and thankfully no Dynamic Punches hit us, and we get the sweep with just Wooper again. This is, considering I've done a run with like the Rock type, and the Rock type really struggled with this gym. Yeah, Larvitar had no usefulness in this fight. Bringing ourselves back to Olivine City, that means we've got to fight with the Steel type trainer, Jasmine. With this team of ground types, we have the type advantage, so we should be okay here. Let's see how we do. So ground in this gym is 4 times effective to the Magnemite, so Dig is a perfect move here. We also just outspeed them, even though Quagsire is quite a slow Pokemon. That then brings us into the Steelix, and again, oh man, it went for Sunny Day. We can't take it out in 2 hits, so that means it's going to burn its Hyper Potion now. And it's going to be at least a 4-hit KO here. So while the sun is still up, we're going to dig rounds, hopefully get around the Iron Tails. And then when the sun goes down, we can surf again to get the win. Honestly, all you need in this gym is an under-leveled Quagsire to win it. Very easy. Larvitar's really not had much to do since the very first gym, really, has it? It's all been on Quagsire, and Quagsire is just doing phenomenal. It's a great Pokemon, probably one of the best Pokemon introduced in this generation, just because of its typing alone. And of course, we bring ourselves to the Lake of Rage, where Christian Hibinski again is still not giving us all too much to work with, but that will change as soon as we get ourselves a Pupitar. We are relying a lot on Ice Freezes to get through some of the major fights here. Wooper Goat is just clutching up as and when possible, and we also get the win against the Red Gyarados. It is sometimes a hard fight because it comes in level 30 when most things around you are in like the teens or very early 20s. We watch Lance Hyper Beam a guy in the face again, and then we head towards the bottom of the Rocket Hideout in Mahogany Town. And usually I don't show this fight against this executive, but we also level up here, so it'd be worth showing it just so we can see the evolution. We've also learnt the move Thrash at level 29, which is a great addition to Larvitar's moveset. It's a powerful normal type move, 120 base power. Does put you in confusion after a few turns, but with that win we also get ourselves a Pupitar. I really wish we can get some more team players now, because these two are pretty much just soloing the game, these two alone. This brings us to the final fight in the Rocket Hideout in Mahogany Town, and they have grass types on the team. Yes, they have poison types as well, but they also have grass types in the form of Gloom. And later they will have a Vileplume. Vileplume is going to be a problem for us later in the league. We get taken down by the Gloom pretty comfortably, and then we just Ice Punch that Gloom into the ground. Thankfully, even though Wooper Goat is 4 times weak to grass, we still managed to not take that much damage from an Absorb. It is only 20 base power and a grass type move, but still, I thought we would have been taking a little bit more. That brings us into Price's Gym, and from Price's Gym we have a big problem because the Ice type is super effective against the ground, and this might hurt. What's also annoying is he has one of the Pokemon that we really want for this team. That is going to be Piloswine. Yes, I have not used that Pokemon line at all yet. We haven't even done the Ice Mono video. Might do that one next, I don't know. We've only got the Ice and the Psychic types left after these two. We've done every other type in Johto. And so far, only the Grass type has been a fail. Yeah, every other type apart from the Grass so far has been a fail. but that still could change with the ice and the psychic type. Thankfully we do have Rock Slide, which can deal out big damage on his ice types. That's super effective. Apologies if you could hear the dog barking in the background there. She saw someone outside and thought they were coming in to see us, so yeah, she just gets a bit excited. If you've ever heard her in the background before, my dog just loves people. But we're not talking about dogs today, we're talking about Pokemon. And that brings us to the Rocket side quest in Goldenrod City. Thankfully there's a lot of poison types here, so we sweep through these fights really quickly. Also helps when we can dig down and then start using self-destruct, and we get easy wins from each Pokemon there. But this guy with 5 Coffins and a Weezing, this is probably the easiest fight I've had against him, just from using Quagsire alone. We got all the way up to level 35, and now we've learnt the move Earthquake, so we no longer need Dig. With Dig being a 2-turn move and being nerfed in this generation, its power is not the same as Earthquake in Gen 1, where it's... I think in Gen 1, Dig is 100 base power, but it's over 2 turns, so it's essentially 50 power per turn. But Earthquake, 100 power, 100% accuracy every single turn, so that's a far more superior move to be using. Going against your local Sandshrew on the Underground, this is the second hardest rival fight in the entire generation in my opinion. We really struggle against that Mechanium. We really need a freeze to make this work because Razor Leaf is just tearing us apart. And I don't really want to level up all too much more because the level cap is 40. Thankfully we can get some more Pokemon after we finish this side quest, but still we don't want to be reaching that level cap all too quickly. We get a Rock Slide flinch, which it doesn't happen all too often really, and then we get taken down by Razor Leaf. So what I'm hoping here is we can tank one Razor Leaf. It doesn't crit. Thankfully it doesn't, but we're on very low HP, and there's still 3 Pokemon left. We're on 16 HP against the Sneasel, and Feint Attack puts us down on 2. Can we still do this with 2 HP left? No. We get outsped and Shadow Ball takes us down. But I still think it's possible, so we need better luck against the Golbat, which we get this time. If we can flinch this Meganium twice, we might be in the money, but we do get hit by a Razor Leaf putting us on low HP. But this time, we take it out with 2 Rock Slides. That then brings in Sneasel, puts it on low HP, and 1 Rock Slide gets us another win. We might be sweeping this just with Pupitar until the Haunter comes out with a Shadow Ball. From there, it decides to curse us, but we use Earthquake twice to get ourselves the win. So even these 2 Pokemon can take out the rival in the Underground, and then we head to the top of the Radio Tower to face our final side quest fight. This guy is completely scared of a Quagsire. I mean, look at that face. How can you not be scared of Quagsire's face? It's got Surf, it's got Earthquake. We've got every move available to make this fight incredibly easy for ourselves against his fire and poison types. Nothing he can do can stand up to this Quagsire, but we are very close to that level 40 cap, so we really need to go and pick up some new Pokemon very soon. Thankfully though, that is now possible. We can head ourselves over to the Icy Path, and we can pick ourselves up a Swinub. And if you've watched my Swinub only video, we did this video with a shiny Swinub because it's the first shiny that ever appeared on my channel, and we paid homage to that with the Swinub shiny only solo run. Our Swinub for today is going to be called Aussie Puff, and with the level cap we can also evolve it straight into a Piloswine. And I've got a funny story about Piloswine really. So I remember when I was younger, I had like a Pokemon party with my friends, so we spent like a week or 2 in the summer where we built teams up. We played through the full of Gen 2. We also caught a Gligar on the way here, and basically none of them had actually seen a Piloswine before in this generation. And I put it on my team, and none of them had an idea of how to deal with it. So I was sweeping through teams with just Piloswine. It gave me a real love for the Pokemon. We've also caught out, just in the background there, we have caught ourselves a Gligar, which is a ground flying type, the very first of its kind. And we've called it Coolio Bros. Thank you for subscribing, guys. Welcome to the channel. We've now just picked up a Phanpy as well, who we are going to name Adrian Bonaire. Thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the channel. Let's evolve you straight away into a Donphan and head into Claire's gym. We've got a stacked team of ground types here. Let's see how we do. Big problem with the ground type team for this fight is the fact that a lot of our Pokemon use Surf. Like pretty much nearly all of them, and none of our Pokemon can outspeed them really. So Donphan goes down pretty comfortably. Aussie Puff as well will go down to 2 of them, but manages to get a speed lowering on the first Dragonair because of Icy Wind. That then brings in the the Kingdra, and I was hoping that she was going to go for a Hyper Beam, but the Endure strats didn't really work there. That then brings in our Gligar, who immediately falls to a Surf. Oh my god, this is looking bad. Okay, we can try and lower its speed using Scary Face if Surf was not a one-shot. It is pretty much all down on Wooper Goat here, and I don't think we've got enough to work with here. Ice Punch, unless we get a freeze, will not give us any chance here. Hyper Beam comes out, we're on very low HP, and no, we don't get it. So we actually push our full team up to level 38 at the least, and even then, we are not making much headway. Strength is not dealing even half damage on Dragonair, so we switch straight into Wooper Goat earlier on to try and finish off as many of these Dragonairs as possible. Because it's a water type, the AI will actually look at it and go, right, I don't want to send in Kingdra yet because I've got, like, Surf is not super effective. So what it will do is send in the Dragonairs where we can get a few Ice Punches in and hopefully take out the majority of the team before our Quagsire falls. Coolio Bros level 38 is faster than a lot of Pokemon, so we can try and get as many slashes in as possible before that Kingdra actually hits us. But we go absolutely crazy here, like they get a load of random misses before a Surf finally hits us and takes down the Kingdra. We wasted its Hyper Potion, but now we can bring in Ozzpuff, who can use Icy Wind and reduce its speed. We get a load of misses here, and I'm not too sure why it's missing so much. But from here, we get taken down by a final Surf, but that is leaving enough room for Christian Hibinsky to come in to get a thrash win. I have no idea why there were so many misses there when there was no accuracy drops. I genuinely don't know. But this game can be weird sometimes. It really shouldn't have been doing that. Anyway, we pick up the Rising Badge, and that is all 8 badges completed. That means we can move on to the League. And the League has its own problems. A ground type team... Oh, we also picked up the Earthquake TM just before we go against the rival again. Yeah, a ground type team is a difficult one for Johto. If you're only using Johto Mons, like, Quagsire is genuinely your best bet. We put Rollout on our Donphan as well. Yes, we did pick up Rollout, but I just didn't want to use it until later, until we got the Donphan. It's kind of its signature move because of the Pokemon movie, and I don't know if you guys have recently been watching YouTube and the Pokemon channel. They started putting these Pokemon movies on for free so you can watch them via YouTube. Like, I'm recording this back in August, and I just watched the Pokemon 2000 movie, like, on YouTube. First time I've seen it for God knows how many years, like probably a decade or so. And it was fun. It was fun to see the nostalgia coming from it. Anyway, we do pretty well against the rival here. This is the last time we're going to see your local Sandshrew on this video. And we deal out decent damage with a lot of the Pokemon, but Gligar is sort of lacking. It doesn't have the greatest moveset, and with its typing as well, being a lot of water types in this region, or at least in major fights, we're kind of struggling with Gligar. It hasn't really found its niche yet in this team. We can bring in Christian Hibinsky for the final Haunter, and then we beat local Sandshrew pretty comfortably. We're probably going to have to rely on Pupitar quite a bit in this league because it does have the move Bite and Crunch, and it's the only Pokemon that has a Dark-type move, so the very first fight in the Elite Four, it's probably going to be very widely used for that. We then go and get as many items as we can, and then we head into the Pokemon League. Will is going to be a mixed bag for us here. We don't have any weaknesses to the Psychic type, but we also take a lot of damage because our special defenses are quite low. Donphan doesn't really make much of a headway in this fight. Coolio Bros nearly gets one shot by a Psychic, and we've lost two of our 5 Pokemon to the very first of his. We're already halfway down on Ozzpuff as well, and then Jinx comes out. Now this is a problem because with the ground type, yeah, we would be weak to Ice Punch as well. We are getting absolutely trashed by this team. Like, completely trashed. Executor comes out, we managed to get one Scary Face off, and that might help us for Wooper Goat to get a freeze on. It takes big damage from Psychic. We've got half our HP to work with and 2 Pokemon left. The next Pokemon coming out, though, is Slowbro. Earthquake can deal out decent damage, and as long as it doesn't use Curse, we might be able to take it out with 3 hits. Oh, we get hit by a Psychic. We're on 12 HP and 1 Pokemon left. Is this going to be possible? No, it's not. Psychic hits. Let's try that again. We push our Pokemon all the way to level 42. This is the point that I actually thought this might not be possible with this team, because every time we did this, we just kept getting walled. This time round though, Adrian Bonnet actually gets a win against the first Startu. That's the very first time that happened. We switch into Christian Hibinski and they go for a double slap instead of an ice punch, which really helps us out. We then get some flinches with Bite. But we're on seeing the lead right now. Slowbro then comes out. We bite it a few times, but Christian Hibinski gets taken down by a Psychic. We switch into Coolio Bros, hoping to get some crits with Slash. And unfortunately, we don't get them. We probably could have taken out if we got the crits. Wooper comes in again, gets an Earthquake for the win. And we've got 2 Pokemon left to deal with this starter. We get Confused Raid to start off with, but then Ice Punch twice gets us that win. That took a lot of tries, and again, right RNG makes it possible. Koga is next, and I'm not worried about this one whatsoever. Every single Pokemon he has got is weak to the ground type. So this is an easy fight for us. A lot of his Pokemon as well are bug types, so Rollout was a fantastic move to be using. Fortress does have neutrality against ground, and that's only because it's a steel bug type. Bug type is not super effective against ground. Ground is not super effective against bug, but it's not. I think it's also resisted. So with that steel typing that is weak to the ground type, it becomes a neutrality. Anyway, Aussie Puff does decent damage against the Crobat. We've managed to waste at least one of the potions. We bring in Wooper, our most reliable team member, and we Ice Punch away to try and take this Crobat down. We get a freeze, of course, and with him going for a full heal, we get an opportunity to use another Ice Punch for the win. Earthquake nearly one-shots the Muck, and he goes for Minimize, but Sludge Bomb puts us on 7 HP, and the poison takes its toll. We bring in Coolio Bros, it misses the very first hit, gets the second, and there we go. Coolio Bros has managed to get a win there. Let's see how we do against Bruno. Now, we don't exactly have a type weakness here, apart from with Piloswine being an ice type, but we don't really have a lot to work with here. None of our moves are super effective against any of his Pokemon, apart from the Onix, where we have Icy Wind to deal with that and Surf to deal with it. Adrian Bonaire does its best against the first couple of Pokemon, getting at least the Hitmonchan down to half HP and taking out the Hitmontop. We switch into Coolio Bros, we go for the Slashes, and we get frozen. Are you kidding me? Well, it was bound to happen. I mean, I have had a lot of freezes over the course of this series with the Monotype runs in Johto. We've relied heavily a lot on them, to be honest. And we are losing Pokemon left, right, and centre. Like, even Wooper here is struggling. We don't even get a freeze to help us out. And this High Jump Kick is going to put us down to low HP. We're on level 43 here. We could go and level up a little bit more to beat Bruno, but I really want to do this with just these Pokemon before the level cap. Didn't become possible. I put ourselves up to level 45, one level below the level cap. And from here, we start off with Aussie Puff, who can use Earthquake on the Hitmontop digging underground. Does double damage when it goes underground and use Earthquake, so perfect Pokemon to start off with. Aussie Puff manages to take down the Hitmonlee as well, and more than half of Hitmonchan's HP. That brings into using Adrian Bonaire, who can finish off with a Headbutt. That then brings in Machamp, and we're going to go for Strength. Cross Chop does massive damage, but all we needed was some chip damage done by Adrian Bonaire, and we'd managed to get Machamp down to low HP. That brings in Coolio Bros, who can then use Slash to deal out... Oh man, it was a bit of chip damage we need. You know, let's just use Screech, lower its defense by 2 stages, and let's see how much Slash does now. That's better. That is much better. I don't know why Machamp went for a Foresight when we're not a Ghost Pokemon, but still, I'm quite happy that actually worked out in our favour. From here, we can use Iron Tail on the Onix to get ourselves a win, and Gligar's now finding its niche in this run. Karen is next, and this is a mixed bag. So, none of our Pokemon are actually weak to the Dark type, but Karen's just not a Dark type trainer. She uses her favourite Pokemon. Only 3 of her Pokemon are the Dark type. She's got a Ghost type Pokemon, and she's got a Grass Pokemon. So we just need to try and work our way through this fight. We don't beat the Umbreon with Adrian Bonaire. Coolio Bros comes in, gets a decent win against the Umbreon, and then comes in to use the Slash against Murkrow. Murkrow is quite defensively weak, so Coolio Bros has done everything it can here. The Houndoom for once is actually cowering in its feet. We can then switch into Christian Hibinski, who can use Rock Slide to deal out a one-shot hit. That then brings in Vileplume. This is the one I'm scared of. Rock Slide can deal out big damage, but Petal Dance is super effective against every single one of our team. It's 4 times effective against Quagsire, and it's just tearing through the entire team here. Thankfully, we take it down with Icy Wind, and we can use a final Earthquake with Ozziepuff to get the win. But that was difficult. That was a difficult fight. But what's going to be more difficult is the very first Pokemon on Lance's team, and that's the Gyarados. The Gyarados has got Hydro Pump, which is super effective against every single member of our team. But starting off with Wooper means that he won't use it. He will use Surf every now and then, but he's most likely going to be going for his Hyper Beams. We freeze the Gyarados with a lot of work, and then we get hit by Hyper Beam with Dragonite. We managed to get 2 Ice Punches in to take down the first Dragonite, but then Wooper falls. I want to keep Ozziepuff in the back for the later things, but I'm going to see how much Icy Wind actually does here while we have the recharge turn. Thankfully, with the speed drop, we actually outspeed that Dragonite, and then he brings in Charizard. From here, no way is Ozziepuff going to stand up to this guy, so we need to switch. And which Pokemon's best? Well, probably would have been Christian Hibinski, the Pupitar, but we also have Rollout on our Donphan. Annoyingly, with us switching in that turn, we didn't get a chance. I was trying to get a speed drop on the Charizard, but we don't really get much chance to. We're down to 6 HP. We managed to deal quite a lot of damage, really. And we might still be able to do this with these Pokemon. So if we hit by a Slash, we can take down the Charizard, and it's 2v2 now. The worst thing about this Aerodactyl is that it hits hard with Hyper Beam. Thankfully with a -4 defense and an Iron Tail manages to take it down pretty comfortably. We get one more Screech off before Dragonite takes down our Gligar. Rock Slide after a Screech is a one-shot, and our ground type team have managed to beat Lance. That took quite a few tries. I only wanted to show you the winning try there, but that took a lot of tries to get the RNG right. This is not a sweep team, really. Like, this takes quite a while to get the RNG right with a team like this. But our team has done it. Quagsire, Piloswine, Gligar, Donphan, and of course our starter Pupitar. We did this in 7 hours 8 minutes. That's actually quite quick. Probably one of the quicker runs that we've done in the Monotype runs. But with that being said, we've completed Johto with just a ground-type Monotype team. And again, we'll now head into Kanto. We will go against both Blue and Red and see whether it's possible to even complete this game fully with just this type of team. There's no more of a Pokemon we can pick up from the ground type in Johto, so we'll just be continuing on with this team. Let's see how we do against Blue. Once we've got the 7th badge, we can now head back to Viridian City and head into his gym. And with his first Pokemon being the Pidgeot, I know exactly which Pokemon I'm starting off with. So we are going to start off with our Donphan. We're going to go for the rollouts and hopefully get some accumulation damage. We use 1 defense curl because in this generation, using defense curl and then rollout actually increases its damage, which I completely forget about until I do videos like this. Hydro Pump then one-shots us from this range, and we have to bring in Christian Hibinski. Hydro Pump from here is also a one-shot, and this is why we didn't really want to see Hydro Pump from it in the league. But from here we can then use Icy Wind and hopefully lower its speed enough that all our other Pokemon can deal out something worthwhile in this fight. We can also use the move Guillotine, which we learned before level 53. And I'm going to save that for some of the other Pokemon because Gligar is really fast. Guillotine is a very important move because as long as you outspeed the opponent, I'm pretty sure even in this generation, as long as you outspeed, you can actually hit with Guillotine. But if you don't outspeed, oh no, that might just be a Gen 1 thing thinking about it. So it might, in Gen 1 with Guillotine, Fissure and that, you could only hit them if you could outspeed them. I'm not too sure how it works in this generation now. Now I'm looking at it. Either way, once Gligar falls, we've just got Wooper to contend with now. We go for the Ice Punches and we get a critical hit. We then surf the Rhydon and there is the win. Easy done. Well, not easy done. That took quite a while, I'll be honest with you guys. Let's see how we do against Red, the final challenge in this video, and then we can start looking towards the next 2 Monotype runs before the rest of this month. Let's see how we do. So Red, the Pokemon Master, is going to start off with Pikachu, and this Pikachu has nothing he can do against the rest of our team. Apart from use Charm, which is very annoying. But we're starting off with Rollout. Hopefully with Rollout we can actually get a 5th turn Rollout to take on the Venusaur. Will it work? Only just, but that's worrying. Because of the Charm we couldn't take it out. And at least we've taken down the Pikachu and we've got the Venusaur down, because the Venusaur is one of the scariest Pokemon on this team. Next up, of course, is going to be the Blastoise. We try to use Screech to deal out at least a defense drop by 2 stages. And then we're going to move into using Christian Hibinski. Yes, we can't use Tyranitar because it is a Rock Dark type, not a Ground type. And annoyingly, we can't even get a Scary Face off. We might have to level up a bit more to be able to outspeed this Blastoise. I always forget that it's a decently speedy Pokemon. But we also might be worth starting off with Wooper to use the Amnesia strats. A lot of Red's team is specially attacked focused, so it makes sense to actually use Amnesia in this fight, if you can use it. We're not going to win this first attempt, let's try again. Okay, so this time, you've seen a big jump in levels there. Yeah, we went all the way up to level 78 before we got a real chance where we actually could do this. And that really annoyed me. Like, we couldn't even beat him at level 75. We had to go all the way at level 78 before we had a chance to do this. From here, Adrian Benair can actually tank a Surf, and we've got through half of his team before one of ours falls. That's all fine though, because it's brought in the Espeon. From here, we can then use Crunch, which is super effective. Annoyingly, we don't have that Dark type to neutralise him using any Psychic type moves, but at least we've got him down low HP. That means we can then bring in our Gligar, who's faster, and then it comes into the Snorlax. Now, Snorlax is slower, so a Guillotine can hit and one-shot it. Perfect move, and Gligar's finally come into its own. We get a 2nd turn Guillotine. The chance, it's 30% chance to hit a Guillotine. I've just hit 2 in a row. That's, I don't even know what the maths is to show the chances of that happening. But we did it. Gligar really came in clutch at the end. Coolio Bros, you did well. Let's give a big thanks to Adrian Benair, Christian Hibinski, Aussie Puff, Wooper Goat, and of course Coolio Bros, who got the Guillotine finish there. We have completed a ground type mono type run in Johto, and I hope you enjoying the video. Smash that like and subscribe, you legends, and we've got 2 more mono type runs left to go. We'll see you tomorrow.